Hi, I'm back today to show you some more tips and tricks with your assessment questions on Schoology. So the last video you may have watched was tips and tricks on the basic questions. Today I'm going to look at your advanced questions. So the labeling images, the hotspot, those kind of things. So these are really great question types if you want Schoology to grade something for you, or you want the students to be able to take something on the Chromebook, but you need more options. So highlighting text. I've created a highlight text question. This is a really great type of question because the kids can just quickly go in and click what they need to click to highlight. So question setup, you're setting up your questions, your possible responses. You can say quick highlight of paragraph. So it's going to clear. So the whole paragraph of separate sentences or of words. So within this question, I want words. Sometimes I want sentences, sometimes I want paragraphs. Sometimes I'll say highlight the best evidence. So if I'm asking to highlight the best evidence, I want usually sentences. But with this, I'm looking for nouns and verbs, so I want a word. But then in my correct, I just go through and I click and 2 action verbs. So follows, loses in that sentence, befriends, and believes in that sentence. So maximum selection, I can say kids can only select 4 words, or kids can only select 1 sentence, depending on how I have it set up. Again, I can do partial match. So I would call this worth 4 points if it was for my class because they're answering 4 different questions. So partial match, Schoology will then figure out if they get 2 of the 4 correct, it'll split those points rather than saying the whole thing is wrong. So I do want to preview the question so you can see what it looks like. This is what it'll look like for the kids. They'll have the option to select any of the words individually, and they just click follows, loses, click named also. So it tells you up there we got 2 of the 4, 200 out of 400, 2 of the 4 done. Or correct, I'm sorry. So if we go back to edit question and hit save, when we get done, because we've selected partial match, we can go in and make this question worth 4 points. So you're probably wondering, well, where do I make the question worth 4 points? It's right here. Your default's always 1, so I go in and change it to 4. This is also nice. The highlighting text option, this is really nice. You can have, like I just copied and pasted this from a previous test that it was just a paper pencil test. But this is nice because I could have 15 here if I wanted. I could have 15 questions here with them all doing the same highlighting. And this just makes it quicker when you're setting up questions. You're setting up one question, copying and pasting it, rather than setting up 15 questions. So highlight hotspot. Highlight text will grade itself. Highlight hotspot will also grade itself. So with this, it's a little bit harder to set up. I shouldn't say harder, just takes a little bit more time because you actually have to go in and physically draw around each thing that you want to be a hotspot for kids to click. So we have to actually draw these boxes around, and then you select the correct answer down here when you're selecting correct answer. But if you see, when we hit preview question, you can only select the ones that have these little boxes around them. So I wouldn't be able to select that shape because it doesn't have a box drawn around it. So it can get a little time consuming if you're having to draw a ton of hot spots or a ton of shapes. But this could be really nice if you're needing to select on diagrams with math class, with science class, even maps. I was thinking my world history teacher, my geo teacher could use this because she could say, select your 7 continents, and then having them select the different continents. There's lots of different ways to use this. Now highlight image. Highlight image is one you're going to have to grade. So it's like your essay questions. You're going to have to go in and grade it. One thing I forgot to tell you with the last question is that I can go in, open a new tab, and I'm going to go to Google Images. And I want to search for shapes. I'm just going to go with shapes because that's what I've looked at so far. Go into my setting, or go to images, tools. I'm trying to do this quickly. Usage rights, do labeled for reuse. Perfect. Here's this picture. This is really cool. I can right click, I can say copy image address, and then I can paste it into the image link. Image will show up. So I don't have to save it to my drive. I don't have to do any of that stuff that sometimes it just takes, it's an extra step. So this is really nice. Kids can circle all the triangles. So they pick a color and then they just draw right on there. Draw. They can hit clear. I can choose a new color, whatever you want them to do. They can also like draw lines. You could even do a blank. It only lets you draw in a picture, but I even thought I could upload a blank square, like a blank white square, and the kids could draw something or write something out in the square for me if I needed them to do that. So that's a great one, but it is highlight images one you do have to grade yourself, so it's not going to grade it for you. The label image will allow you to label each question. The kids can label it themselves. Schoology will grade it themselves. The kids, this is a drag and drop type thing. So again, I've done an image link rather than uploading an image and having to worry about saving it to my drive or to my desktop to do that. When I click add response box, it creates a new response box. So this shows that I have 8 responses. So down here are my possible responses. I can add square, triangle, circle, rectangle. And I can keep adding these options. And this is like the fill in the blank drag and drop, except, let me just drag this in here so that we have it. So it's gotta kind of highlight blue like that for it to catch. But if we hit preview question, so this is the drag and drop. So just like we did before where we can drag and drop our answers, drag and drop, like we dragged and dropped with fill in the blank, we can drag and drop and label things. So I was thinking this would be great for labeling an image, labeling a cell, something like that for science. I thought this would be a really great way to do it. Plus it grades it for you, so it makes life so much easier. Sometimes front loading it makes it a lot easier because you're not having to worry about the grading. Also, something that I've done this year is I share responsibility for creating things with my my ELA partner in 7th grade. And that allows me to create some things, she creates some things, and then we just upload them to resources and we can each use them. So a lot of times we'll take turns switching off creating the assessment. I'll create it for Unit 1, she'll create for Unit 2. We will save up here to we have a group resources page and save it there, and then we can just pull it in. So sometimes the front loading it is kind of hard and it's a lot of work, but in the end it makes it so worth it because you're not having to worry about grading those really basic like labeling image questions, those things. So math short answers are the last one I want to show you. I know my math teacher's like, I'm not going to use Schoology for assessments. There's no way. Like it's too hard, it's too convoluted to try to have them put in formulas and math answers, math symbols. But Schoology offers this math short answer. So it's just like an essay short answer, except I can choose in this symbol, I can keep adding options and I can add like trig stuff. I'm not a math teacher, so I don't know what all of these things are, but I can add Greek letters if I need to. I can say the default is math, the default mode is math or text. If they're going to do more text, but I still want them to have access to the math calendar, I can default it to text. But most math teachers are going to want it in math. And this question is asked the formula for the circumference of a circle. When the kids click in that box, it comes up with all of these keyboards. So they can just click through. There's their algebra keyboard. There's their geometry keyboard. So they have their pi symbol. They can just click their pi symbol and add it in there. So I hope these tips and these tricks for the advanced questions, the interactive questions will help you guys